Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of the CNA Technical Update. And we're just going to run through, like we did last week, a bit of a weekly update on where the market's sitting. It's been a really big week. So we're going to touch into just fundamentally what's happened in the last couple of days. We've seen a big sell-off, but there's been a lot of chatter now about potentially a bit of a bull swing potentially coming to the upside. So we'll break that down. But as we can see, this is kind of where we are on a roadmap of Bitcoin, looking at it on a weekly basis. We are at a key resistance area. So these previous highs from where the bear market, where we started to fall away, acting as quite a bit of a barrier right now for price. We basically now printing at the middle of this weekly close coming in a red candle. So a bit of work to be done by the bulls to get us up towards heading towards that March 2022 high. Now, we have seen a significant sell-off this week, as I'm sure everyone's probably aware. Just to give people a bit of an insight, this is a look at the liquidations that have occurred. So people that have been trading on leverage, potentially overexposed, almost acting as a bit of a powder keg. Unfortunately, when price did start to drop, we did see this waterfall sort of cascade effect of a lot of stop losses being hit. A lot of people that were, buyers having to force sell out of their position. So making quite a thin move in the market that we did see. But what's notable overnight, we have seen, I guess, the same sort of squeeze happen, but to the shorts. And a big reason for that is it's been quite a few news releases this week. While this is a technical roundup, there is quite a bit on the macro landscape that does play into price and how it delivers. So we did see overnight, quite notably, this figure here, PPI. So this is quite important when it comes to measuring inflation rates within economies, mainly the US here. And overnight, or early mornings, our time, we saw the federal rate remain steady at 5.5%. So this is really important in terms of a risk-on asset market like crypto coming alive. We want to see those rates start to drop, or even the talk or suspicion of rates dropping come into the fray. And that's kind of what we saw overnight. For the first time, the rhetoric, which has always been higher for longer, seems like they're seeing a bit of an end coming, and a pivot's for the first time being talked about in 2024. So that's quite exciting, but it still doesn't mean in the short term that we can't head down on crypto markets. So, we have been notably week on week, the most amount of green weeks we've seen in a long time for Bitcoin and specifically. So it's, while I would say there's room for upside, I wouldn't ever discount the idea of markets sort of cooling off and something like Bitcoin maybe falling back to those high 30s, low 40s. That's definitely on the cards as well. But time will tell. It'll be a really, really key weekly close coming up. But we're going to dive into some altcoins like we have in the past as well. So during the dip the dip earlier this week, and also the recovery that we saw last night on the back of the good news, AVAX and Helium, HNT, AVAX, AVAX, two crypto assets within the top 100 that bounced really well. They were up about 5% each within the first 5 minutes of the news data releasing. So for me, when I'm building a watch list, that's quite important. So having a look at Avalanche as well, it's cleared some pretty key significant resistance areas on a weekly basis as well a few weeks ago. So that's quite important. And we've seen a rally that's been sustained now for over a month. So just like Bitcoin, also sitting at a key resistance level, there's basically this big gap in prices, the midpoint of that, as well as a Fibonacci retracement level, the 23% mark. So two areas where traders would likely be taking positions off, waiting for the market to come back before hopefully loading back up to go to the next key target areas, which for something like Avalanche, we would look at monthly levels like these. So anywhere between 62 and 69.70 US dollars for something like Avalanche. They might be the next levels once we can sort of muster some strength and get over this little hurdle to head towards. Again, Bitcoin failing to hold where it currently is and start to progress higher, could see something like Avalanche, come back to about $30 potentially. The last highs, the year-to-date highs, or 2022 highs in that bear market time as well. So a bit of an interesting one to watch. So that's the thoughts on AVAX. Helium, definitely been feeling a bit of the love from the recent pumps in the Solana market ecosystem. They've recently migrated onto that chain during the bear market as well. Again, similar story, weekly resistance levels that have been broken, week on week growth. We're now into, again, also a key monthly resistance area, which is just these prior monthly highs. There's quite a few of them. So, they're weekly highs, sorry, but there is a monthly high here as well, a key one. So what we want to see here is similar as well, just for price to sort of flip potentially here on a technical basis, come back for some sort of retracement and continue higher. Just because there has been so much strength in this one as well, there's always a situation where it doesn't really come back. It does keep going. Again, really just comes down to the tone set by Bitcoin right now as to what happens in the altcoin market. But in terms of targets for this guy, the next monthly levels are around here, $17, as well as the next monthly sort of key Fibonacci level at about $21. There's also a target here of around $14, but just because of where it is and there not being any key structure to the left here, we may see that one just get front run and priced to head more towards this region here. So that would be a pocket of interest where traders may be looking to take positions off at that point in time. So, and I guess just to tie this all together, total 3 is the total market cap of the altcoin market minus Bitcoin minus Ethereum. So this has been for a long time trending up, but for the first time, we've actually broken some pretty serious highs. So this is more of I guess, fundamentally, the altcoin market could be looking quite strong here. What we'd want to see from Bitcoin is, even if it does not fail to go any higher, we don't want to see it go lower here, because something like total 3 here, which would basically describe how the money is flowing into the altcoin markets. If Bitcoin were to start tracking down, we could see a failure here, a failure to break out and just go back under here. And, we could see a retracement on altcoins, which could be quite devastating. 20-30% wouldn't be unheard of in terms of altcoins losing their valuations. But if Bitcoin were to just come up here, compress and go sideways into the end of the year, into start of next year, where we're waiting for the ETF news as well, that would likely be the ideal situations for altcoins. That would give a bit of breathing room, a bit of confidence and a bit of positive sentiment for total market cap to sort of start to head towards, again, like this next key cluster here. So that could be anywhere up to, let's just say $700 billion US, which is just under a 50% rise. So that's kind of the state of play right now. Very sensitive right now, very dependent on Bitcoin holding, but hopefully the positive news that we've seen regarding interest rates and the general sentiment in the markets shifting, as well as a lot of these key market catalysts now being released for the year. We really don't have anything until about middle of January to look forward to. It may provide a bit of breathing space is the best way to put it, looking forward. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully that's been insightful. Give us a like, give us a reshare. Definitely get in touch with us if you're liking what we're doing here at CNA, or if there's anything you'd like to see different. But that's all from me. Cheers.